Hello and welcome to GearHeads. My name's Jesse and today I'm going to be giving a 6-month review of my Milwaukee Ratchets. So I picked these things up around the end of last year, around Christmas time, and I have loved them so far. They've been really nice to have. They save so much time, and they're so much more convenient to use than an air ratchet. My boss had one of the first gen 1/4 inch Milwaukee ones. I'll show it to you guys so I can compare, this one with the first gen, and then obviously also this last week or two, a whole bunch of videos have been coming out from that big expo that Milwaukee was, or that I don't know if Milwaukee was doing it or if they were just at it, and there's a whole bunch of YouTubers there though, showing off all the tools and giving little impressions of them and talking about them, and over the next few months they'll be rolling out. So I'm excited to see a lot of those too, and maybe pick a few up when I can. But for now, I think I don't think the main fuel brushless ratchets that they have are changing too much, except for I know they're adding the longer necked ones, which will be pretty sweet. Either way, these will still be around and they're still relevant, and you can still even pick up the Gen 1 ones too, which are also still good tools. But I'll compare them back and forth with those maybe in a minute. But let me just show you this in case you have not seen these or used them before. They work just like an air ratchet does. Instead of having to put an air hose in there though, you've just got your 12-volt battery, and I gotta say, for 12 volts, these things actually are pretty dang impressive for how strong they are. This is just the 1/4 inch one, so it's not like insane or anything, but the 3/8 one is really strong. You actually have to be careful so you don't break stuff with it. And also be careful that you're holding your arm stiff when you're using it so it doesn't pull your knuckle into something and bust your knuckles, because that does not feel good. And ask me how I know, I've done it plenty of times. So the head on this thing is a decent size. It's a little bit thick, and the old one, I will compare it in a minute. The old one though is a little bit more rounded, and I think actually did fit in tighter spaces a little better. That being said, this one does seem to spin faster. It definitely has a lot more power. And I've also heard a lot of issues with the first gen ones of them just not lasting as long. So I have personally known a few people now that have had either the 1/4 or the 3/8 and had them go bad. One of the guys I actually work here with now has one of the first gen 3/8 ones, and the teeth started going bad on it after only like 3 or 4 months. He's pretty hard on his tools, but still, only 3 or 4 months. I keep telling him go warranty it out at Home Depot because that's where he got it. He hasn't done it yet, but they should honor the warranty if he gets around to it. Either way though, my goodness, like stepping up to this versus what I used to use up until around December, using the air ratchets, this is just so much more convenient. Not having to drag a hose through things, reach and follow down deep into the engine bay, or especially even like with interior work and stuff like that. Oh man, it's so much nicer. And the batteries, these are the 2 amp hour batteries, and for me on the 1/4 inch ratchet, if I'm using this thing like all day, I haven't sat there and done a test where I just literally hold it and I put it on a bolt and just go back and forth on and off, so I don't know exactly what the real runtime would be in that scenario, but I can tell you I use this thing all day, every single day. And I only need to charge the battery every few days. And then when I do need to charge it, it only takes like an hour, and I have extras, so it's not a problem. The 3/8 one, it seems like it does eat up batteries just a little bit faster, not much honestly, but it's to be expected. It is putting out a lot more power than the 1/4 inch one is. And the speed on these is pretty good. So I'll show you guys when I get it on this nut we have over there. Obviously, if you've got a rusty fastener and the threads are messed up or something, it's not going to be as fast, but I have a clean one over there, and I'll show you. You can get an idea of how fast it takes things on and off. And not bad in my opinion. It's about the same as the air ratchets I used to use were. I used to use a 3/8 Ingersoll Rand air ratchet, and this thing, it's about the same speed as that was actually, and it actually is also stronger than the 3/8 IR that I had was. Maybe that's because the IR was super old, I don't know, but in my opinion, a lot of people compare these to the Snap-on and the Matco ones. I believe the Snap-on ones and the Matco ones both, because the Snap-on ones are 14.4 volt, I think 14.4, and the Matco ones are around 16 volts. they do put out a little more power than these. So they might be a little faster, they might be a little bit stronger, and put the fasteners on a little bit harder, but I don't know how they compare as far as battery life goes, because I don't have any, and none of the guys around here that I know that well have any, because everybody just went with the Milwaukee ones because they perform so well and the price is so good. So we'll go over the prices too in a little bit, but let's go show you a little demo. Let's kind of see if we can find out how strong these things are, and then I'll also, after that, I'll compare them with the Gen 1 ones so you can get an idea of them, because you still can buy the Gen 1 ratchets also, and they are cheaper, and you know, maybe you might find it useful to have one of those around for certain situations or as a backup. In any case, let's go check them out. Okay, so welcome to the messy bench here. I'm going to start out with the 3/8 Milwaukee ratchet, and I've got a 13mm gear wrench socket on it right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and run this down. Maybe you can get an idea of how fast this thing goes. Oh, okay, that's it. So that's one thing to be careful of. I was trying to hold it up a little bit so you could actually see the socket going down, but then it kind of wanted to slip because I wasn't pushing down with it. So, you know, that's a normal thing with any air ratchet or electric ratchet. I didn't put it on that tight. Let's see if the 1/4" one takes it off. There you go, off. So, and you just flip on the back there to change the direction. So let's go ahead and put it back on with the 1/4 now, and try and measure with my torque wrench how tight it actually gets it. All right, so I'm holding it real tight against the side of my body so that I'm not like adding any torque to it. I don't want to cheat and make it look like it's doing more than it really is. So here we go, and here's my my Matco digital torque wrench, and I'm going to switch this to peak mode, and hopefully it'll tell me, and I'll be able to see right when it starts moving what kind of torque it was at. Pardon me for not having super fancy measuring tools. I'm just using what I use at work. So now look, 100 foot-pounds. It ain't going to be that high, but it's on tracking mode. So let's see here. So it starts moving at about 22 to 24 foot-pounds. Is when it started moving. So that's just an estimate. I don't know exactly what the tool's rated for, but you know what, honestly, I don't care what they say it is, because in the real world a lot of times the tools don't actually put out exactly what they rate them for. So let's see if it takes it off now. Oop, maybe not. There we go. Took a couple extra little hits there to get it off. So that should give you an idea, somewhere between 20 and 25 foot-pounds to install and remove with that one. So let's just go ahead and do it again with the 3/8 and see what that one does. Okay. What does the torque wrench say? So that one's starting to move just a little bit over 30 foot-pounds is when that one started moving. So I get it, this is not the most scientific of tests, but it gives you an idea. So the other thing to consider is these aren't necessarily supposed to be impact tools. That's not actually what they are. They're not an impact gun. You're supposed to bust it loose first by hand and then pull it off. But it's still nice to know the amount of power it puts out. That's still a helpful thing to know and a helpful thing to have when you do have the extra power. So here is the Gen 1 Milwaukee electric ratchet compared to the Fuel, the Gen 2 one here. Now, if you count the battery into the size, the Fuel is actually a hair longer. I don't really mind that at all, honestly. It's like maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch longer. Being long this way is not usually too much of a problem. It's more a problem with the width, and the actual total width does not seem to be too different. The only difference is you might notice the rounded head on this, and that rounded bevel kind of continues down in the middle here. So I have found this one does work a little better if you need to get into super tight places than the Gen 2 Fuel one here does. But most of the time, if this one isn't going to make it, that one isn't either. I may have found 1 or 2 cases that this one did do something this one couldn't do, but either way, it is a little easier to navigate. So maybe if they made some updates to the fuel line later, to these ones, it would be cool to have maybe a slightly smaller head design, but I wouldn't want them to sacrifice the strength either, because I have heard of stories of these ones not standing up quite as long as these ones do. So obviously I've only had this one for 6 months. I can't tell you that I've had it for years and years and it's kept working with no issues, but so far it has had no issues. And I think this one actually is this is my boss's, and this is his second one, because his first one broke. He had a 3/8 one, and that one also broke, and he never replaced it. And then the other guy I work with had another 3/8 one. And I know other people that kind of have a similar story to tell. So for the price, these are still really good tools, and when they came out, they were very innovative. So also the speed difference, you can see here. It is interesting too, when you let off the trigger on the Gen 1, it like slows down. It's like because it's a different style of mechanism in there, I guess. I'm not the smartest man in the world to tell you exactly why that is and what inside of the design is making it do that, but it is kind of funny. I stopped with this one and it stops right away. And the lights are a little different. The light on the fuel one is a lot brighter actually than the light on this one, but they do both have lights. So anyways, this one and the 3/8 one are both going for around 170 bucks. If you buy them at Home Depot, that's kind of like the list price in most places. You can find them on sale sometimes in some areas around the internet for cheaper than that. These ones seem to be going on sale a lot more often lately, and they're still available for anywhere from like 100 to 120 bucks, and I've seen them on sale at Home Depot for less than 100, I think. So if you want something maybe for use at home that's a little more affordable, still not a bad way to go necessarily, and it works. And they still have a warranty, so I did talk about it maybe not lasting as long, but it can be replaced. In any case, now that we did start bringing up the prices, let's compare these to some of the other competition out there. So if you're at home and you're a DIY guy and you're looking at buying some electric ratchets like this, these are probably going to be like the top of the line ones that you'd maybe be considering if you want to go with them. For professional everyday use, I think they're great, but I do know there is some cheaper options out there online, and I know O'Reilly's sells like a Power Torque branded one. I do actually have a couple other different Power Torque tools, but I don't use them for work every day. They're things that I've used for occasional side work or, other DIY things. Harbor Freight also has an option now, but I think they only have a 3/8 one at the moment, and it's less than 100 bucks. But anyway, let's go ahead and compare now with, if you're talking about what a lot of the professionals would compare these with, would be the Snap-on and the Matcos. So the Snap-on, I'm just going to do the 1/4 inch ones because they're pretty similar in pricing, I believe, to the 3/8. Both of these ones are the same price pretty much. The Snap-on 1/4 inch drive 14.4 volt one is, and it comes with one battery, and I believe it comes with a charger, is $319 US. That's the list price. If you've got a good guy on your tool truck, he'll probably be able to work out a deal with you a little less than that. But either way, that's going to be a lot less than 169 bucks for one of these. So let's go ahead and see how much are the Matco ones. So this Matco kit comes with 2 batteries, it looks like, and a charger. So that's cool. It comes with 2 batteries, and it comes with a case. So 2 batteries, a case, and a charger, or that's going to run you $439.95. So 440 bucks. That's a lot of money, but it does at least come with another battery, so that's probably why it's, around $100 more than the Snap-on one is. That all being said, I can't really talk too much about comparing these because I don't actually have experience with those ones. If you guys would like to see a comparison of these versus the Snap-on ones and try and actually do some real world tests with them and see, how they perform and how I like them, my hand's different and whatever, I do have one friend who has offered to let me do that with his ratchets, and so let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing something like that. Otherwise, a couple more things to note about these in general. I do really like the triggers on them. You have a bit of control with it. You can change the speed and the power by, you can ramp it up depending on how hard you squeeze it, which is really important, especially with really small fasteners. With this 1/4 inch one, this thing makes enough torque to break things. So if you're running something down and it's a small fastener and you're getting closer to where it's going to be done, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll slowly let off to where I'm just barely turning it, and then once it's snug, if it's something that really needs to be torqued, then I'll do that. If it's something that doesn't have to be torqued, I might just check it real quick by hand with this thing and make sure it's snug. But yeah, like I'll just start strong and let it finish off on its own at that point. Also, it has a lock on it, which is pretty cool because I have a case for these things. I don't remember if it came with my big one or if it came with this or what it came with actually. I bought these on Amazon though. But I have noticed if I put them in the case, it is nice to be able to lock this. So this thing can't automatically go off. So the lock is this little button right here. It's kind of hard to push, but whatever. On, off, can't get it going. So also the light's useful to have. I really love having the light on it. You can see now it'll start dimming out after several seconds. It's somewhere around 10 seconds, I think. And if you just need the light to come back on before, like if you haven't found your way onto the fastener yet and you just need the light to come back on, you don't even have to hit this hard enough to turn it. If you just slightly turn it, it'll turn the light on. Well, they turned it a little bit, but it'll turn the light on before it gets the ratchet really going. So that's really useful and really cool. Both of these have that feature. And yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is just my experience with them so far after the last 6 months or so, and I gotta say I really like them and I'm really happy with them. And I'm also really excited with you know, all the other tools that are coming out that I've been seeing online. It looks like they just came out with a cordless grinder that goes up to 25,000 RPM. That's awesome. So, and I do have a little Milwaukee like Dremel tool that's electric, and it's really handy for using in tight little spots, and it's pretty cool, but it's not really good for serious grinding work or serious, you know, good cleaning if you put a cleaning tip on it or whatever. But anyways, if you guys want to see a video like this again and want to see me compare these with the Snap-on ones, like I said before, leave a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, also hit the subscribe button. And obviously, if you liked it, please like it. I always appreciate it. It helps the videos do well. And yeah, they've been going really well so far. So I would like to say thank you to all of you that have been following along since I got the channel going again the last couple months. It's been really cool to start doing it again. It's been fun to be doing tool things, and I'm happy that you guys have enjoyed it. So thank you very much, and as always, keep wrenching.